We're here walking along the beach in Tel Aviv, and as you can see, there are people out, their families out, enjoying the sea as they should. It's peak summer. But I can't help but think when I'm walking along the coast here that if you follow the coastline exactly 60 kilometers south in that direction, you're going to reach Gaza. And there, rights groups are saying that there's a genocide and a famine taking place, which obviously feels extremely different to what we're seeing around us here in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is known as Israel's liberal capital. Here you can find beaches, bars, and all kinds of activities that make this an enjoyable city for its nearly 500,000 residents. It's like a beach party.
We're in the middle of a war, 2 years, and the beach behind me is full. Resilience is the main thing that represents Israel, that represents Israelis.
I'm here to find out what Israelis think of the war happening next door and the growing international condemnation against it. You know, coming here to Tel Aviv, everything feels quite normal. You guys are on the beach having fun. Outside, the war in Gaza is being discussed a lot.
זה לא כזה משנה מה אנשים בחוץ יגידו וכמה הם ילכלכו וכמה זה. אנחנו יודעים כאילו בתור עם ובתור צבא כמה אנחנו מאוחדים וכמה אנחנו ביחד. ואני חושב שזה שהוא רואה אותנו משחקים עכשיו בחוף וזה נטו בגלל הצבא ובגלל כאילו כל המאמצים.
Everyone has a relative or a son or a brother or someone who is fighting in Gaza. Everyone was supporting us and say, wow, we're so sorry and everything. And then, after 5 minutes, everyone forgot. And they forgot why we are in Gaza.
Since the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attacks, Israel's killed more than 64,000 Palestinians in Gaza, with the real toll likely much higher. Famine has been declared, and most of the territory lies in ruins, with Israel's military continuing to destroy civilian structures as it pushes deeper into Gaza. And although recent polls have shown that among Israeli Jews, there's little sympathy for Palestinian suffering in Gaza, a small group of people here are trying to sound the alarm.
We're walking south. So, I mean, if you got into a car here, within probably like an hour you would get to Gaza. In that direction, it's insane to think as Israelis that we can have a peaceful, easy life here in Tel Aviv when people are going through hell.
Sarit Michaeli is from the Israeli human rights organization B'Tselem. In July, they joined major rights organizations around the world in determining that Israel was committing genocide in Gaza.
The people of Gaza have been displaced, bombed, and starved, left completely stripped of their humanity and rights.
They called their report Our Genocide. Our Genocide, that's quite a title.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
As an Israeli Jew, I belong to the collective that is perpetrating this genocide. I bear responsibility. It's done in my name, regardless of, you know, there's this claim that some people make, which is like, this is not in my name. Well, it is done in my name. I live in this society, I pay my taxes, and it's both my responsibility and my obligation to speak out to Israelis about what our government and our army is doing in Gaza.
How hard is it for someone to look in the mirror and say or acknowledge that their government is, as you say, committing a genocide?
It's very hard. And yes, of course, it's terrible to acknowledge that your government, the army that many of our relatives and friends and sometimes we serve in as Israelis is doing these horrific things.
I want to get a better sense of how ordinary Israelis feel about these issues. So I'm headed to some of Tel Aviv's most popular areas. So right now we are walking here in the busy Carmel market in Tel Aviv, and as you can see, they're selling all kinds of goods from fruits and vegetables, snacks and chocolates, electronics. Coming here, I'm reminded of similar markets that exist in Gaza that I visited in the past. However, right now, because of Israel's ongoing war and siege of Gaza, none of those markets, from what I understand, are operational. Packed with people. Can we ask you how life is these days?
פגע בנו קשות בכל הענפים, ואין עבודה, אין תיירות, אין כלום. התיירים לא מגיעים,
you're part of a market that is selling, produce, fruits and vegetables, spices and other goods. Right now in Gaza, people don't have access to any of this. Does that, as a human being, does that affect you, knowing that at all?
אני לא יודע להגיד לך, אני לא רוצה להיכנס לדברים האלה.
יאללה, הצגה, הלו! יאללה, איזה ענבים,
Tel Aviv is amazing. I feel now like I'm in vacation. I feel really safe here. On the regular day, you don't feel it, but then you are scrolling on Instagram and you see all of this. I'm very sad.
What do you see on Instagram?
All the hostages. I feel so sad.
There are undeniably civilians who are suffering right now in Gaza, and rights groups are using the words like genocide and famine to describe the situation there. How much does that concern you, that civilians are suffering and dying?
I care about the people. I care about children all over the world. But first of all, we want the hostages back.
You care about children. When you see the picture, are you guys seeing it? Because
50% at least of the pictures are, how do they call this? Gazawood. You know it? There is a
Gazawood, like Hollywood.
Yeah.
But Gaza.
Yes.
Because a lot of people around the world are looking at those pictures, in particular the
This
pictures.
is the big problem.
In particular, the pictures of the children who
invite
appear to be starving.
all the people.
Do you guys see those pictures, and does it bother you? Please, Tamar, tell me. Do you see those pictures, and does it bother you?
I see those pictures, and I see a lot of pictures that are not real. They are staged. A lot, at least 50%, if I'm not wrong, even 80%. But I can tell you there are a lot of suffering in Gaza, and the suffer is because of Hamas.
Did you put these pictures up?
Not only me, people who died in 7 October. Soldiers, people who've been in the party. I have a friend who died.
You have a friend who died on 7th of October?
Nova.
He was at Nova?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
19. Are you in the military?
I'm joined up 2 more months.
2 more months, then you're going to go?
In November.
And you're going to go to fight?
Yes, of course.
You're going to go to... You might go fight in Gaza?
I love to.
You would love to?
I want. Yeah. People think that the children and the men and the women in Gaza, they're innocent. Bullshit. Everyone has, taken part in 7 October. You can't ignore this. No matter what you say, you can't ignore this. No innocence.
Even women and children are not innocent in Gaza.
There is a mothers of terrorists, who support. So there is no innocence.
And the children?
The children gonna be, terrorists. They're gonna be killers.
כמה שמדברים וכמה שמראים, ואנחנו עדיין אשמים, אז בשביל מה להתראיין בכלל?
שני, הנה, מה?
יאללה, נו, בחייך. מראים מה שהם רוצים להראות.
So right now we are approaching the big weekly anti-government demonstration that takes place here in the heart of Tel Aviv. Now in this demo you'll find a lot of expressions against Benjamin Netanyahu and his government, a lot of signs calling on the return of the remaining Israeli hostages in Gaza. What you won't find much mention of is the Palestinian victims of Israel's ongoing war in Gaza.
That you, Bibi, are the guilty and you are to blame.
There is obviously a lot of criticism of this war globally and a lot of people protesting this war who might look at this, what you describe as an anti-war demonstration, and wonder why there's little mention of the Palestinian victims of this war in Gaza.
Listen, the European and the Australian are idiots, excuse me, because they don't understand that the Islam is coming to them as well. It's not Israel to blame, it's the Palestinian, their leaders. They never wanted peace and they wanted to come in our place, not next to Israel, instead of Israel.
Would you consider yourself an anti-war demonstrator today? No?
No. I'm an anti-government demonstrator in that I don't believe the government is right in almost anything they do. They lost their legitimacy on October 7th.
Are you calling for an end to the war, though? Do you want to see the war end?
Of course I do. I think we all do.
So you are an anti-war demonstrator?
I mean, it depends if you want to be morally righteous or if you want to be effective. And look, as an Israeli leftist, to argue for effectiveness is admittedly tricky.
So is it ineffective? Is it ineffective to talk about Palestinian victims? Is that what you just said?
I think that's pushing it a little bit. We as Israelis care more about Israelis than non-Israelis. It makes sense. The Palestinians care more about Palestinians than the Palestinians. The Americans care more about Americans. Everyone does. It's normal.
We're looking for people who are expressing any kind of solidarity or support for Palestinians, and we can't find them, so we're going to keep looking. Tell me about your shirt.
I mean, it's true.
Palestinian lives matter, which is something that I think that most Israelis don't believe. I mean, they might say it, but the way that they behave and the way that they handle themselves in their politics and the way that they speak just does not reflect that kind of truth, I think.
Do you think, though, that given the scale of the war, and especially the images that have been emerging over recent weeks and months of, people starving in Gaza, that there's a growing number of Israelis who are concerned about that?
Listening to the dialogue in Israeli media and talking to people are more worried about what the Western world thinks of Israel than what are the actual implications of Israel's action in Gaza.
Late into the evening, Tel Aviv comes alive with a famously vibrant nightlife. Who are you?
I'm a famous TikToker.
You're a famous TikToker?
Kinda.
What are you doing here in the streets of Tel Aviv tonight?
I interview.
What are you interviewing people about?
Whatever my mind comes.
How would you describe the vibe in Tel Aviv tonight?
Sexy, cute, funny, stupid.
אני חושב שבכל מקום יש אנשים שממש שונאים את ישראל ושלא אוהבים אותנו, אולי אנטישמים, אולי מכל מיני סיבות. ואני חושב שהצבא שלנו מאוד מוסרי ושהאנשים שלנו הם אנשים טובים, אנשים זהב, אנשים שבאמת לא יפגעו באף אחד, תמיד יעזרו, אבל בסוף, אחרי כל מה שקרה בשביעי לעשירי, לא שוכחים ובמקום שלום הגענו למצב יותר גרוע של מלחמה וכיום אני לא רואה איך מגיעים לשלום.
Are they looking me up? While conducting our interviews, a woman interrupts to warn those we're speaking to, and everyone else in the bar, to avoid talking to us.
הוא יודע רק אנגלית. שמה? כן, שאלתי אותו.
What's happening? Good. What's happening?
חושבת שאולי מעלים את זה נגדנו כזה, או מנסים להוציא אותנו כאילו רע, או שלדעת על מה מדברים, אז תגידו. Maybe.
Feeling people are turning against us, we decide to leave and visit a popular nightclub not far away.
ממש כאילו עכשיו יצאתי מעזה לרענון אחרי איזה סבב שלישי ועכשיו באתי לתל אביב קצת להיות עם חברים, קצת לראות את העיר, להיות עם אנשים, להכיר אנשים חדשים גם קצת לרקוד, לנוח, אתה מבין?
You were just in Gaza only a few days ago and now you're here at a club in Tel Aviv. What's that like for you?
בהתחלה זה ממש כאילו גרם לי להרגיש לא בנוח, כאילו ממש כאילו פתאום שאתה יוצא מהאווירה יותר שקטה, יותר כזה כאילו רצים, יותר כזה כאילו לחזור לפה זה כמו מין לתת איזה נשימה עמוקה כזה, איזה שלוק של האוויר גדול.
This is all making me feel very uneasy. We're here in the streets of Tel Aviv, coming to clubs where people are dancing and asking people hard questions about what they feel about, big topics like genocide. If you are following what's happening in Gaza, it is hard to understand how these two worlds can exist so close together. Over 3 days, we spoke with dozens of people across Tel Aviv and found little concern for Palestinians in Gaza. But for B'Tselem, the blame for what's happening there shouldn't be placed solely on Israel.
There are so many excuses that our government is giving us, or that the powers that be give us, to absolve ourselves of responsibility. The fact that the international community enabled this for the last almost 2 years is one of the reasons why vast parts of Gaza look like a wasteland now, why so many human beings have been killed. We have failed as Israelis who are opposed to this to stop it, and I think Israelis will forever have to reckon with what we have done to Palestinians in Gaza.